burning in at least 3 different oil fields and streaming out in great palls of smoke.
The Kuwaiti oil fires just jump right out at you. When you see something ugly, it just jumps right out at you. The looking environment from space, we need to take care of that.
The Volga River meanders through central Russia as it runs down toward the Caspian Sea. We've already flown 8,000 miles, a third of the way around the world. Ahead of us, the endless steppes of eastern Russia and the deserts of Mongolia. But further south in India, Nepal, and Tibet rise the highest mountains in the world.
On STS-31, when you look from 400 miles down at these massive mountains, and it looks like, ooh, I hope I don't fall because I'm going to get really beat up. And it looks like the mountains are really reaching up to you, almost ready to grab the shuttle. They're so massive and so rough looking when people try to...
Below the southern tip of India, by the Bay of Bengal, lies the island state of Sri Lanka. Soon we'll see north to China and the mouth of the Yangtze River.
If you look where the river mouths out to the ocean, just about the center of the frame, you can see it's choked with sediment for probably hundreds of miles upriver. And to the bottom and right of the scene, there's so much sediment dumped into the coastal zone that it almost can be difficult to tell where the land-water boundary is.
And sometimes it's even hard to distinguish the land from the sky, especially in the slanting red glow of a low sun. We've come more than halfway around the globe. Now we're approaching the land down under.
Along the northern and, the northwestern and the northeastern coast where people live, there are big inhabited areas that are quite evident to you from out in space. But most of the mountains and everything, we call it the large boring landmass, but we say that in jest because it's pretty interesting to watch. Australia's deserts, which are massive, have their own identity because the earth there is very, very deep red. It's not red as we think of red like a fire truck, but the red of dirt. Much darker and redder than, say, Africa.
The colors are vivid in the afternoon sun, but ahead, the earth is disappearing into darkness.
Crossing through the tropics as it appears we are here in this scene, you get tremendously nice deep shadows that highlight all the topography of the clouds that are welling up through the tropical atmosphere. When you're on the space shuttle, you look down on the ground and you see the Terminator go by. You see the landscape go from light to dark, everything else. And you watch the tone of the light soften and become slightly more reddish-orange. And then with a speed that just amazes you, blink out.
At night, by the lights of our cities, we realize that people still cluster in coastal towns. This satellite composite photograph reveals the electric outline of the United States and the glare of the prosperous countries of Europe and Asia, from Britain and Germany on the left to Japan on the right. But in the global view, what stands out is the darkness of the entire southern hemisphere. And some of the light we do see is fire consuming the rainforest. In this view from the space shuttle, the moon seems to flare directly over Atlanta. This is the southeastern coast of the United States, turned almost upside down from the more familiar perspective of the map. That's Charleston, South Carolina, in the center of the picture. And almost the whole of Florida is outlined off to the left. The distinctive shape of Italy is easy to recognize even by night. From Milan at the top, the largest concentrations of light are the great cities. Next comes Florence, a bit inland. then Rome on the western coast, and Naples just coming into view farther south. On the east, the dark waters of the Adriatic lap against the glow of smaller resort towns. But all the energy and the drama of the lights we have created pale in comparison to the lights of nature.
At night, the lightning seems to be doing its own choreography, and it's like you're listening to an orchestra or something. You can imagine the music that's playing as the lightning goes from cloud to cloud, and appears to go over hundreds of miles at a time. Quite a bit different from the way I perceived lightning before I flew in space, because I always thought lightning was a local phenomena. You know, it occurred right here over Clear Lake City and over one little section of it. When you look down on it from space, it appears to go over hundreds, if not thousands of miles, and it seems like one bolt of lightning seems to excite another one somewhere else, and so it travels all over the place.
Good morning, Discovery.
Marines aren't happy unless they do their push-ups every day. That wasn't too tough, so, you know, look, one arm. And if you want to, you can do foot-ups. Now, not many of you can do this right here.
Then we hurry back to the windows, but there are no landmarks at all. The longest passage of our orbit is the endless expanse of the Pacific Ocean, capped by banks of clouds that sometimes span thousands of miles.
This is coveted line that runs parallel to the coast across the frame is the trace of the San Andreas Fault, delineating sharp blocks of mountains from vast tracts of desert. And a little bright spot just about in the center now is the lake bed at Edwards Air Force Base, where we often land space shuttles. This is one of my favorite regions of the world here. The body of water surrounded by land in the center is the Gulf of California, or Sea of